You're working towards becoming that. You are actually becoming that success that you've defined. My name is Jose Moreno. On this podcast, we discuss current and future trends in the electrical industry. Welcome to the life of an electrical contractor. Welcome to the life of an electrical contractor. On this podcast, we discuss current and future trends in the electrical industry. Welcome to the life of an electrical contractor. All right, what's up, guys? So today I actually wanted to discuss something that I think gets confused. I know I confused it along the way, and sometimes I still confuse it because it's a theme that will constantly change. It will constantly evolve, really, as you continue on whatever path you're on, right? So what I'm going to discuss is success and what is success, right? And it's going to mean something different for you. It's going to mean something different for me. And ultimately that's what, that's the beauty of success, right? So the dictionary actually describes success as the following, right? It says attaining wealth, prosperity, and or fame. And you know what? I guess growing up, that is what I believed, right? I believed that, you know what? To be successful, you had to have a lot of money, right? To be successful, you had to have this big old house, right? To be successful, you had to have this Mercedes, a BMW. To tell you the truth, I don't even remember knowing Ferraris or Lamborghinis. I just had them as little toy cars. I didn't even really realize they actually existed in real life. But, I did know of a Mercedes or a BMW, and it was like, wow, those are successful people vehicles, right? And then obviously, fame. If you see an actress or an actor, a singer, a rapper, you're like, oh, that person is successful. But I'm here to tell you that there's a lot more to that term success. And for me, it's taken me many years, and I'm still in the process, but it's taken me many years to actually understand what success is, to actually dissect it and in a way recreate it so I can be successful, right? So to say. So, like I mentioned before, success is a very interesting subject. And it's simply because it means something different to everyone at every point in their life. So again, it means something different to everyone at every single point in their life. See, what you thought was successful perhaps 5 years ago, you may think is a scrub, What you think is what you thought was being a scrub, perhaps afterwards, you're like, oh my God, I was actually successful then. Whatever it may be, right? What I'm trying to say is that it's constantly changing. And why? Because you are constantly changing, okay? And it's very important to be aware of this. Because if you're not aware, then what happens is and again, I'm speaking from personal experience, you kind of get caught up in this mind trap of what success is, and perhaps you even just chasing it. See, you hear a lot of things about chasing success. And you played hide and go seek as a little kid, or you played tag or some game of some form. What happens when you chase something? That thing runs away from you. It's trying to evade you. So think about it. Many people write things, and I know growing up I'd hear, oh, let's chase success, this and that. It's and as I've grown, as I've done this, as I've been living this, I've realized you don't chase success. Okay, you don't chase it. You remember that cartoon where the guy would have the carrot over the chicken's head, and literally the chicken would constantly be chasing the carrot, and the guy's laughing because the dude is literally holding the carrot over his head, and this chicken is frantically running around the coop trying to get the carrot, never getting it. Always feeling what? Like it's just out of his reach. So again, success is ultimately going to be determined by you. And it's going to be determined by what you feel, by what you determine success is at every given point in your life. Okay? Because you also have to understand that there is days where it's going to rain. And perhaps the days that it rains, perhaps success is I'm inside not getting wet. Or perhaps it's raining today and I'm outside, but guess what? I'm not drowning. I'm just simply getting wet. You see, that can also be successful because someone else could be fucking drowning. So it's always a matter of you paying attention to what you believe, what you see, what you hear success is, and ultimately you determining it. Once again, at every single point in your life. So let's dive in a little bit more into success, right? So once again, like I said before, a lot of people say success is the opposite of failure, which is a whole nother topic that, brought me down to my knees many times because I want to be successful. I want to be successful. It's the opposite of failure. It's the opposite of being a failure. So when I fail, or when I feel like I'm a failure, I am so far from successful. I am so far from feeling successful. I am like that chicken again, running after that carrot, chasing that success, all while being a failure, right? And once again, as I've done the work, as I've actually put this stuff into practice, I realize that there's a little bit more to that, right? But again, if one says success is the opposite of failure, and then I guess you could say, failure is the opposite of success, right? There's a little bit more to that, right? So some of the things are having aspirations, right? Having an aim, having an objective. Being successful means you achieved something, okay? And perhaps that's where I want you to focus on. What am I looking to achieve? What's your vision? What's your desired vision? What are your goals? What are your planned goals? See, once you start to really get clear on that stuff, then you can begin to see what success, or perhaps you can then begin to define what success means to you right now. Now, like I mentioned before, this is something that will constantly evolve on every step in your life. But it's difficult for you to determine what that is unless you know what that vision is, what that goal is, right? So some of the components that I've detailed on that I believe are important in achieving success is acknowledging your current reality, right? And in my cases, along my paths, right? Along my path, I should say, right? At many of my crossroads, I had to get real. I had to look at what my reality is. And remember, being real and looking at your reality takes a lot of strength because one is, don't make it worse than it is. See, a lot of people make their reality worse than what it really is. Also, some people actually make it better than what it is. And it was, once again, it's you're bullshitting yourself. And it's not going to help you. Because if what you're looking to become, if what you're looking to be, what you're looking to live is a successful life, then you need to be real about where you're at. You need to look at your current situation and not argue with it, but rather acknowledge it. Okay? See, what I believe happens when you acknowledge it, when you're real with this, is that you then free yourself. You literally free yourself from this idea. It's almost like you're that chicken again in that carrot. And at that moment that you acknowledge it, you're like, hey, this little motherfucker's in my back. Hold on, let me rip this guy out. And yeah, now the carrot is on the floor and I don't have it. But at the same time, now I know that I can walk towards that carrot and pick it up. Right? So it's that same concept, right? Another thing that the second part that I believe is important is identify what you want. See, so many people are not clear on what they want. And if you don't know what you want, well, how the fuck are you going to get it? How can you even set yourself up to go get it? How can you set yourself up to be successful if you don't even know what success is? You can't even define it, right? So identify what you want. Identify your aim. You know what aim is, right? You know, if you have a bow and arrow, or you have a gun, or you have a football or a ball, you're looking at something, you're aiming at it, you throw it at it, right? You shoot it, you do whatever. That's an aim. Look at what you're aiming. See, how can you shoot something if you don't even pay attention to what you're looking at? Or worse, you haven't even determined what I'm going to shoot at. Your goal structure. Pay attention to your goal structure. See, this will help you determine how to get what it is you want, right? Now you can begin to build yourself towards what that is, whatever that may be for you, okay? Remember to be clear. Don't be vague. See, we all like to be vague. Why do we want to be vague? Well, because when we're vague, if we fuck up, well, we're like, I wasn't really sure about it. Well, I really wasn't all in. I mean, I really didn't say I wanted that Lambo. I really didn't say I wanted that, whatever that is you want, that Ferrari. I didn't really say I wanted that business, I really didn't say I wanted that job. I really didn't say I wanted that wife, that kids, that family, that life, that success. See, when you are clear with what you want, your path towards it becomes clearer for you. Not easier, clearer. Because where you are going, you're going to have to become a new person. Okay, you're going to have to grow into that person that will ultimately be the one that gets to wherever that is you're going, right? That success that you claim, right? That success that you're going to define, right? That's who you're working towards becoming so you can get to where that place is. But all along, you're doing the work. See, you're not going to be successful when you get there. That's the old mentality. No, I'll be successful when I get that car. I'll be successful when I get that business. I'll be successful when I close that sale. No. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you is that by you listing those goals, you are creating yourself a map, right? A roadmap to get to where you want to go. But all along the way, you're working towards that. You're working towards becoming that. You are actually becoming that success that you've defined. See, now that your aim is clear, now that you know where you're shooting, now that you know where you want to go, that's when the daily work comes in. It's hard, man. It's hard. Everyone wants a shortcut. Everyone wants it to be easy, including me. Okay? Hey, doing these shows, you think this is hard sometimes, But I realize what my goal was, right? What my vision was, what I desired to do, and now I know what I have to do to make that happen. If it doesn't happen, then I have no one to blame but myself. See, that's where that previous one where I said, don't be vague, be clear. See, because if I'm vague, then if I fuck up or I don't do good, it's like, well, it didn't really matter. No, but when I'm clear and when I fuck up and I don't do good, right? When I fail, I can once again be real with myself and identify where is it that I am playing small. I'm not giving it all. I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. And it's not to shame myself or to fucking feel like a failure. It's rather to acknowledge that I failed. And that, guess what? Because I've acknowledged it, I can fix it. I can change it. And I can once again begin to walk towards that place. Another item is create a schedule. See, if you hear too many entrepreneurs or people that speak about business, about selling and things like that, things don't happen until you schedule it, right? And I'll be real, probably about 5 years ago, yes, at work I always schedule things, this and that, but it was real difficult. And even at home, I have schedules with my kids and their activities and all these things, but it wasn't an intentional schedule. And that's perhaps the next part that I'm going to walk into is schedule it, right? Create a schedule and follow it, but make it an intentional schedule. Okay. Don't make it a schedule that is just to spend 15 minutes writing it and you're never going to fucking follow it anyway, right? That's make a schedule that, first of all, that is not difficult to achieve. Okay. Yet it's not extremely easy to do. Why? Because you need to build some momentum. And some of that momentum is going to be built upon you winning. Okay? You actually smelling, feeling, tasting that success that you've defined, that success that you wrote, that success you said you were going to be. It's going to take responsibility. It's going to take your responsibility to take daily action steps on that schedule. Okay, whatever you want to put in there, but you have to be real with yourself. Is this matching my goal? Is this matching my aim? Once you do that, the schedule starts to it literally it feeds you. And then you feed it, and then it feeds you, and then you feed it. And before you know it, you're becoming this, how can I say, this just goal achieving person, right? And that's where the next part comes in. Achieve. You've achieved. You're making achievements. You're making strides, right? Reward yourself. Reward yourself on a daily basis. Now, let's be clear. The reward, once again, must match the action, right? I mean, if you took a little action, don't go out and, I made a schedule. I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini because Jose said I can. No. It's that, man. Okay? No. You need to, your rewards are going to match. They're going to match. It's basically like what you're giving, it's just going to naturally return. Okay. So reward yourself. Sometimes a reward is just, you taking 15 minutes for yourself. A reward sometimes is, I'm going to go for a drive. A reward could be, I'm going to go have lunch by myself, no phone, no nothing. Do that. Our reward could be like, I'm going to do something. I'm going to buy myself something. Okay, fine. You can buy yourself something. I'm constantly rewarding myself in many ways, right? Why? Because that fuels me. Oh, I achieved this. Oh, I got this reward. Now guess what I do? I'm training myself to continue moving forward. And all along the way, I am defining and redefining what success means. Okay. And these rewards do not have to be of monetary value. More importantly, it has to be something that you find valuable. See, many times along my path, I realized that perhaps I wanted to get something and I didn't give myself permission to buy that because I didn't feel like I deserved it. No, but I did all these things. I did awesome, this and that. And you know what? That's another argument that we tend to have. Like, no, I don't deserve it. I'll get that when I reach this. And once again, you have to find out what success means to you, because perhaps you think that it's in your mind, and it's not right or wrong. It's just what it is, okay? Perhaps you feel like someone that has, X watch is, wow, like that guy is badass, or that girl's badass for having that, But you're like, oh, I can't do that. I got to make this many millions before I buy that. And what I'm trying to tell you is, you don't have to do anything. Okay? You simply have to become that right now. And if today you feel like, wow, I hit this major stride. I created this thing today. I'm going to reward myself. And one of those rewards perhaps is buying that. Then you do it. Why? Because you're not chasing success. You are the success. You are the success. And even that thing you're going to buy and put on your arm or whatever, that doesn't even mean it's successful. But once again, whatever you determine success is what success will mean to you. See, some of the things I did as a younger person, right? Or at least maybe like a decade ago, which I didn't really look at it as successful at the time, was I spent time with my kids. I literally spent time with my kids. And I didn't look at that as success because perhaps I wasn't driving that car I wanted, or perhaps I didn't have that watch, that I wanted, or this or that, or the house or this. But you know what? Once again, see, that has to come back to defining what success means to you. Because what I've realized is those moments that I spent with my kids are priceless. They're priceless. See, because my kids now, my daughter's 15 and my son's 14. They'll never be 7 again. They'll never be 8 again. See, they'll never be at that dance recital again at that age. They'll never play in that soccer game at that age again. They'll never be in 3rd grade and 4th grade. They'll never enter middle school again. They'll never fall down and cry and you be there to help them get up again. As a little kid. They're still doing that now and I'm there. But as a little kid, you see those things now, they're valuable. I couldn't put an amount of money on that. And I'm not telling you I'll trade it to go back to that moment. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to tell you is you're redefining what success is. See, the days that perhaps me and my wife couldn't go out, that we couldn't go on vacation. There was one summer in the year 2009 that we didn't go on vacation. And I remember telling my wife, like, I don't think we can go on vacation this year because fucking market's falling apart and I don't even know I'm going to be in business. But you know what we did? We created a mini vacation spot in our backyard. And my wife was there. My kids were there. And we created a 2-month long vacation oasis in our backyard. See, others will look at that from afar and be like, this is broke motherfucker. But to me, at the moment, even now when I'm talking about it, fuck, man, that's priceless. Even if my kids don't remember it. To me, because once again, remember, it's you. It doesn't matter what somebody else thinks success is. What matters is what you think success is. And it's going to mean something different to you every step along the way. Because you're constantly changing. Right? So the rewards are going to compound on themselves, right? The rewards are going to get bigger. Why? Because you're getting bigger. You're doing more. You're offering more. You're giving more. So guess what's happening? What's returning is doing naturally the same thing. You know, the farmer that plants, he can't plant one seed and hope that he gets fucking 10 plants. Right? I'm not an expert on farming, but I'm sure he has to plant a lot more seeds than one to get 10 or 20. Listen to the voice that's in your heart. What I've realized is we all have this voice. We all have this little message inside of us. But we don't always follow it because we don't understand it. It's scary. It's whatever you want. Whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say, it's basically an excuse. And it's because we don't want to listen to it. But just like I told you before, be clear, not vague. Listen to that message because that message is clear. It's not vague. It's the way we pay attention to it that is perhaps vague. So another, like I mentioned before about failure, that term of failure gets a bad rap, and for a long time, like I mentioned before, I thought I was I thought I was a failure, right? I was a failure at work. I was a failure as a father. I was a failure even as a husband, right? Because perhaps I wasn't able to offer these things that in my head I thought I had to, right? That carrot, that chicken, I'm running after the carrot thinking like, oh, I got to give this to my wife. If I don't give her this, she's not going to love me. Or more importantly, that outside world is going to look at me as a failure. So naturally, I felt like a failure, right? And like I said, like before, I said failure is the opposite of success, right? But what I have found in my life as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a business owner, is that I'm constantly failing. But see, I no longer argue with it. And I no longer despise it. See, I welcome it because when I fucking fail, guess what happens? I now realize what not to do. I now realize that when I fail at something, there's a gift in it. And the gift is the lesson I learned. And now I get it to do I have a new choice. I have a new choice. I can continue doing that shit and continue failing, or I can now use that lesson, put it to work, and with, like I mentioned everything before, with daily action taking, daily work, everything coming together, compounding itself, be that success. Be that winning, you can call it, right? Most people from the outside look at a successful man or woman and think they got their shit together. They think that this person is constantly winning. There is no failure in his or her life. He doesn't know what failure is. And I'm here to tell you is the complete opposite. Okay. Most of these successful people, and again, this is a term that it depends on, because some people can be living on a facade, and I'm not going to necessarily talk into that. I'm going to talk about just my experience, right? Is you look at a successful person and he's not successful because he's never failed. He's just successful because he now knows what success means to him, and he now knows to change his approach when he fails. It's a simple equation that most people just do not follow. And perhaps they may say, well, that's too simple. I'm not going to follow it. Right? Like, oh, that shit sounds way too easy. Why would I follow that? So then that's the other part of it, right? We want to make things extremely fucking complicated, right? Because when we make things extremely fucking complicated, what do we get to say then? That shit's way too hard, man. I'm not going to do that shit. So now I just gave you both scenarios. And you can ask yourself, where the fuck am I at? Because half the time you're in the middle. Not taking action here, not taking action there. Just wondering who you are. And my intent in this episode was to show you that you determine what success is. Not me, not him, not her, not your family. You determine what success is. Yourself, your home, your work, your life. So recapping, to me, success is a way of being, right? Money, fame, power. Yeah, they can provide you all of this. But do you realize that you can actually be a successful being and have all that stuff as a direct reflection of who you are? And just remember that what you focus on, what you aim towards, what you take action towards, you're going to achieve. And remember that failure is part of the process. Okay? Without failing, you won't know what winning is. Without failing, you won't know what success is. And you will ultimately be able to determine what success is because of your willingness to face these so-called failures that in reality are the actual method to you accomplishing everything that you've ever desired. Find the gifts, find the lessons. Only failures will give you that. Wins give you lessons and gifts as well, but for some reason we don't seem to pay attention too much at the wins. When it's a failure, holy shit, it's like something just drove over your ass. And you have to pay attention at that point. And when you finally believe it, that's when you'll know, shit, I made it. I am successful. I am that success that I spoke about, that I wrote about, that I lived about. All right, guys. So something else I wanted to share today was I'm putting together a group of similar-minded people. I'm looking for a couple people that want to get together, perhaps once a month, via Zoom call or something to discuss some construction industry stuff as well as some life skills. Right? Why? Because I believe everything is important. Okay. See, how you show up at work is gonna definitely determine how you show up at home, and how you show up at home is 100% going to determine how you show up at work. Okay. So to me, everything is interconnected. So I'm looking for a couple people that we can probably get together maybe once a month, have a conversation, discuss a little bit of what you're going through, discuss and some strategy sessions. Again, it's a very new project I'm putting together. So if you're interested, definitely shoot me an email and we can discuss a little bit more. All right. As always, thank you for listening. If any of this info you found valuable, hit that subscribe button, as well as remember to share it with someone that needs to hear this. Feel free to comment below and catch you on the next one.